Hello, so today I'm going to be talking about my favorite goddess movies. These are not movies with like the traditional goddesses per se. They're just, a good comforting movie that I like to turn to whenever I'm not feeling well, or if I need like a little bout of inspiration, or just extra feel good. So these are not like your traditional rom-coms. The difference with like these movies, there is like a little bit of romance in some of them, but these ones kind of more focus on like women as like the main characters and like kind of like the heroine's journey. So some of these are a little bit more, or I should say less known than other ones, but I just wanted to share a few of my favorites. So grab a cup of tea. And we are going to get started. So number one, I have, this is called Peace, Love, and Misunderstanding. And this cast alone is like one of my favorite movies. So, or favorite cast, sorry. We've got Jane Fonda and Catherine Keener and Elizabeth Olsen. And they play the three different generations. So there's the grandmother, who's like, hippie grandma, who's Jane Fonda.
You can keep your extracurricular activities under wraps. I will be a shining example of upright citizenship and constitutionality. Mom!
Oh, good morning.
Morning.
There's a naked man sitting next to my daughter eating cereal.
Yeah, it's okay, Mom. It's organic.
Hey, it's nice meeting y'all.
So you have your hippie grandma, who's played by Jane Fonda, and she has a sort of, troubled past with her daughter, played by Catherine Keener, and, Catherine Keener's character goes through some major change in her life, and she has her kids with her, and a whole bunch of, things ensue, and there's some fun, there's some drama. Without spoiling too much of the movie, I just really like the dynamic between these women. And it's got Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who I absolutely love, but he's a romantic character, so is Chase Crawford. But like I said, the focus is more on the women and their relationship. So that's Peace, Love, and Misunderstanding, and that is like, it's kind of fluffy. I mean, there's not a whole lot of depth. Well, there is, but it's one of those that I turn to when I want to be like inspired and just feel good. So the next one is Practical Magic, and this one I actually saw this movie. I actually read the whole Practical Magic series, but I saw the movie first, like years before I actually read the book. And it's actually one of my least favorite of the Practical Magic books. Which is hilarious because I loved all the books. So like The Rules of Magic was one of my favorites, The Book of Magic. But because I saw this movie and it was instantly one of my favorites, will always be, my little favorite witchy movie. I love Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, Stockard Channing. I mean, look at this cast right here. So if you haven't heard of this movie or seen it, it's
like a
nice
sailor's snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble.
This movie is a nice witchy movie, and it's more about the bond between the two sisters, and of course there is a little bit of romance, but once again it's more about these two women and how they handle coming into their magical powers as witches, and how they deal with, there's a little bit of mystery and I guess supernatural, but it's mostly just a fun movie, especially the margarita scene. So my next favorite is Amelie. So this one is a French film, and I first saw it when it came out. I think it was 1999, and the whole thing is in English subtitles, which for me, like, it totally didn't like take away anything from the movie. The movie is fabulous, just like the cinematography alone. The story is really cute. It's about this waitress who's kind of, she's shy, she's a loner, she doesn't really get out much, but she starts doing all these amazing good deeds. I should say good deeds for the most part, because there's one neighbor she kind of messes with, but he deserves it. she starts doing all these wonderful things for the people in her life, and she finds this boy, and she realizes that she kind of wants to do something, you know, for her own life. So she you know, plays these little games, and this movie just will make, it's one of those movies that just make you fall in love with life itself. It's just such a good movie. And then my other favorite is, we've got Wildflowers, and this is a story, this is another kind of hippie goddess movie with Daryl Hannah and Clea Duvall, and it's more like a coming of age movie about this girl who, you know, she's kind of, yeah, I think she's like 18, she's graduating high school, and she doesn't really know, like, she's been surrounded by a bunch of male energy her whole life, and then she meets this woman who's played by Daryl Hannah, and she's such a goddess in this movie. And you know, all these things start to unravel, and she, you know, figures out more about who this woman is, and, you know, kind of helps her find herself and her own life path. So this movie I've seen a million times, and I could probably watch it more, and it's one of those like indie movies that not a lot of people know about, but I still love it. And then we have, what do we have? Sorry. Okay, so this next one is Flashdance, and this movie came about a time when I was probably way too young to see this movie, but it was the movie that kind of made me want to become a dancer. And it's from the 80s, but if you haven't seen it, it's about Alex, who's played by Jennifer Beal, and she's I think like a welder, that's her main job, but she's also she also works as like sort of an exotic dancer, but she really wants to be in the ballet, and, you know, she doesn't really fit in with that lifestyle, but that's like her dream. And, you know, the whole song, you know, take your passion and make it happen. It's basically about just, you know, following your dream no matter what and not giving up. And once again, there's some romance in it, but for me, the movie really isn't about the main romance. It's about her just pursuing her dream of becoming a dancer with the ballet. So I have a couple honorable mentions. Those are probably my top 5, but then I did also want to mention we have Barbie, which, you know, is just a super fun, silly movie, but it also makes a really good point about you know, what it's like to be a woman in today's world, basically what it's like to be human too. You know, all coming from a doll's point of view, but if you've seen the movie, you know, she takes an interest in, you know, what it's like to be a real person. So and then we also have The Love Witch, which is one of my favorite witchy movies. It's become kind of a cult classic now, and she herself is a goddess. Elaine, I forgot who, I think it's Samantha Robinson plays her, but she, even though she's a little skewed in her view of love and relationships, and she ends up basically, you know, as a murderer, because she's so in love that she basically chases these men and ends up killing them. But there's definitely some humor in it, and there's also some, you know, also talks about the feminist viewpoint. And just the scenery alone, I just love this movie. I could put this on and just have it like as background, like a background view, just because it's just fun to watch. And then, so we also have Wild, which definitely, this is a great movie. It definitely deals with some heavier themes of like drug use, sex, like addiction to sex, and, you know, basically getting over grieving her mom. So, but it's such an eye-opening movie, and just makes you fall in love with life. And, you know, it's her journey to becoming, or finding herself again after losing her mom and going through all her addiction. And I mean, that's another beautiful movie, and, you know, it just shows her going throughout her backpacking up the Pacific Coast Trail, which in itself is very inspiring. And yeah, so those are my top pics. I'm sure I have some more I'm forgetting about. If you have any that you can suggest, please leave them in the comments. Let me know if I forgot anything. But I hope you liked this video.